Hey, good morning, and welcome to the Sunday morning message for Memorial Baptist Church and Chinle Res Church. I am driving down the road, headed for Indiana, where my mom is, and I don't know how this is going to come out quality-wise or anything else. Excuse me, but I want to talk to you today about another tool in our tool belt. And we talked about the tool belt 2 weeks ago, and how that tool belt is truth, which is actually Jesus, and getting to know the truth gets you ready to use these tools. And then last week we talked about asking questions and using questions the way that Jesus did. Excuse me. I got this little nagging cough. I went in and got tested for coronavirus, and I don't have it, but I feel like I'm out about C4, and I need an adjustment because it keeps catching, and I have this little catch. And so if I talk too fast, which you all know me, I just, a little cough comes out. So let me get into this second tool in our tool belt. And the second tool is intentional acts of kindness. Now, notice that I didn't say random acts of kindness. Notice I didn't say pay it forward acts of kindness, because those two things are, well, if it happens to me, maybe I'll pay it back. Or if I feel like it, I'll just throw it in and do something nice for somebody. But the Apostle Paul tells us that as Christians, we're supposed to do intentional acts of kindness. And it's much more difficult to do this. An intentional act of kindness means that in one case where Paul's writing to the Romans, he's telling us as Christians to leave room for God's vengeance on people. And that when they do bad stuff to us, we're supposed to turn around and do kind things to them and allow God to just heap burning coals on their head. Doing an intentional act of kindness to somebody who has been unkind to you takes a predetermined mindset that we're going to follow not only the writings of Paul, but the example of Christ in our lives. And we're going to trust that God will take vengeance when we need to have vengeance taken, and that God will turn people's hearts around when that can be done as well. When excuse me. Whew. Wish I could edit this out, but I can't do it going down the road, so you're just gonna have to put up with it. When I was a youth pastor, we had a Bible study at my house, and there were an easy 50 kids there every Wednesday night or Thursday night, I don't remember now, Monday night probably. And we had neighbors. There were no sidewalks, so when you park off the road, you're parking right in their lawn. And we just lined the street with cars. And we had several that complained and, said something. And so the next week after we got the complaints, we bailed out on the Bible study. Wow. I don't know, I wasn't doing this about 2 minutes ago when I started. Anyway, we bailed out on the Bible study and we made cookies. A bunch of cookies. And we took heaping plates full of cookies around to all the houses in my entire block, probably 30 houses. And we sent teenagers out to do it. They would make cookies and they would take them in, and as they went, they apologized for the crowd every Monday night, and they explained what was going on, and you know, that they would try to be careful of people's grass and things like that. And it was amazing. The people who complained the most became the most friendly. On Monday nights, they would come out of their house and wave at the kids as they were going by. They would talk to them and, you know, find out what their name was, things like that. And it was just cool to see some intentional act of kindness have that kind of effect and to be effective. And so wherever you're having difficulty in life, especially if it's because of what you're doing as a Christian, figure out an intentional act of kindness. And I will tell you, though, be prepared to give them an answer when they ask why you're doing it. If you just say, oh, I just felt bad, or oh, I just want to do something nice for you, then you've blown it, because the idea behind it is that Jesus tells us to do intentional acts of kindness, and we're supposed to go out into the world and do those things. Now, there are two other places where this works. One is in the body of believers. And Paul wrote to the Corinthians and said that, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the Corinthians. Again, I don't have my Bible sitting out here, so Scott or somebody correct me in the notes if I got this wrong. But he wrote and said, do good to all people, but especially to the household of God. And now that I think about it, I think it's probably the Galatian church. But hopefully I'm not wrong on both. We get an order there, and the order of doing kind things, intentional acts of kindness, is to do it inside the body first. You know, in this time of coronavirus and all the stuff that's going on, and just the way life is, it's so easy to get just a little discouraged or a little down or a little aggravated. I was aggravated Friday. And sometimes somebody just doing something intentionally kind, will change your attitude around and remind you that they're doing something that Christ asked them to do, and you need to do that as well. And so you have a powerful effect on the body of Christ when you do some intentional act of kindness to another believer or with another believer. Then the third place that this works is with non-believers. Now, I know I covered just about everybody doing this. The one place that it doesn't cover is people who love you really deeply and it's easy to do kind things for. You're just supposed to do that anyway. And as Christians, we're supposed to take the other three categories and be intentionally kind, intentionally good. And so if we're doing the acts of kindness, intentional acts of kindness with believers, and then we do that with somebody who's not a Christian, we have kind of a track record to back us up. Now, they may not even know it, but you do something kind for somebody who doesn't understand why, and maybe they won't ask you, but they're going to start watching you a little closer. So for this tool, you need to make it a regular part of your life, a consistent part of your Christian faith. And so I'm going to wrap it up here now that seems like I finally stopped hacking at you here. And I'm going to tell you that, you know, our tool belt is slowly filling up. So far, you've got the ability to ask questions, and you've got intentional acts of kindness. And both of those things will really impact the world around you. You can literally change people's hearts and minds toward Jesus by doing those two things. And they take no special knowledge. They take no real special skill set. They take a little bit of work for you to figure some things out, and they take the ability for you to have an answer for why you're doing this thing that brings people or leads people into a relationship with Jesus, or at least lets them know that you have one. So I'm gonna let you go. Man, this is the shortest one I have ever done. Terry, you're gonna love this, I think. But I love you guys. I appreciate the prayers while we're on the road, seeing parents and kids and things like that. We wanted to get up into the Chicago area, especially before the election, because I think if it goes Trump, there's going to be riots in every big city that's run by Democrats. And if Biden wins, I have a feeling those same cities are going to have riots by the same people, because it's just a weird thing that liberals seem to tear down their own cities when they have a victory. So we didn't want to be anywhere around come the first part of November, and that's what we're doing. We'll be back in about a week, and we'll talk to you all later. Love you all. Have a great day.